So good morning friends. Welcome to day 2 of our extended lockdown online training webinar series. Today we are going to discuss on branching and looping concept. So without wasting much time, let's get started with our webinar. So here is the agenda for the day. So in today's webinar, we are going to discuss about this online training course, and then we will be discussing the concepts which is we are going to discuss in today's webinar. Followed by, we will be discussing some of the types of question which you can expect in the campus interviews. So earlier in campus interviews, they were asking on MCQs and programming, but nowadays you are getting the questions which is based on different type of expectation. So you can expect the pseudocode type of question, you can expect MCQ questions, you can accept fill-ups, automata, fix and programs. So in today's webinar, we are going to discuss the concept followed by the pseudocode which is mainly asked in Capgemini interview. And then fill-ups are mainly asked in TCS first round of test. And then there is a new section in Cognizant Automata Fix. So you will be getting some of the questions related to Automata Fix. We will be discussing about how to solve and how to approach those Automata Fix questions in today's webinar. So I hope on audio and video is clear. So we are going to proceed this webinar, and then I will give you some of the useful tips which will help you to crack the first round of Capgemini, TCS and Cognizant, which is mainly based on today's concept, that is branching and looping. So in general, if you are learning new things, you have to learn the concepts clearly and then practice all type of program which is required to. So the first step in online learning is you have to learn the concept clearly. Then you have to practice the different types of questions which you can expect in the campus placements. Followed by you have to take many mock tests and assessments. So that will give you clear idea about how you are learning and how much you have understood the concepts. Then you have to analyze your result to get clear idea about the topics which you have studied and work on the area of improvements which help you to get stronger in the concepts which you have learned. So this process has to be repeated for every concept, and this needs to be done for all the programming concepts. Then only you can easily crack the first round of recruitment test as well as the technical interview. So we have designed the online training course in such a way that to guide you all these 5 major parameters. You can learn concepts using our online training videos, and I will going to give you some of the other useful resources. Then you can practice the different challenges which we are posting to you, and then take assessments on every weekend and then check your analysis and result. Find out the areas which you need to improve. So this online training course is designed like this, and this online training course contains 30 days online training followed by a practice test, assessments on all major topics in quants, reasoning, verbal and technical section. So it means that you will be getting a complete information about this, about complete training on placements. So why we are actually conducting this online training course? So since we cannot predict anything about this lockdown, and once your college reopens, you may need to take semester examination. Once the semester examination is over, the company may visit your college immediately. So your college and placement team will not get enough time to train you for the next set of campus recruitments. So this type of online training course will help you to upskill yourself, and you can go to one step or two step up in your career. So this is 30 days online training test, and we will be giving the practice tests and assessments on all major topics. So our live webinar will be conducted at 10 a.m. every day in this same link. You can note down this link, https://ps lockdown training. We will be conducting this online training in the same link. You can note down this link, and you can log in. You can visit this link and attend this online training for next 28 days. So we have completed day 1 training, and today's day 2. We will be having 28 more day training on these things. So what we were doing in this online training course. So in online training course, we will be discussing on the concept followed by company specific questions. That is very important. So you will be getting the questions which was asked in previous campus recruitments, like the questions asked in TCS and QT last year, Capgemini Pseudo-code, and Cognizant Automata fix. Similarly, the other questions we will be discussing in each and every webinars. So after this concept discussion, you can attend daily aptitude and coding practice test, which is available in your Examly portal. So usually the time scheduled is 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. but based on your college request, there might be some changes. You have to log in using your existing login credential and take the practice test. We will be conducting weekly challenges on every Sunday on the topics which you have covered so far. That is the topics which you have covered in the previous weeks. So this is our online training course plan. Utilize this training course and increase your chance of getting placed as soon as possible once the company start visits. So yesterday many students have asked about our training plan. So in this slide I'm going to display the training schedule which we have planned for next 30 days. So next 28 days. So I will hold on this slide for a few minutes. If you are watching this webinar in a mobile, you can take a screenshot and you can refer this for your training. So we have started our training with number system yesterday, and today we are discussing on branching and looping. Tomorrow we will be having a training on sentence correction and followed by number system, array, sentence completion, and goes on. So if you are watching in a mobile or in a laptop, you can take a screenshot of this page, and even you can share it with your friends who wants to know any particular topics. Okay, so this is our training plan for next 28 days. Okay, so after this basic introduction, let's go on to our core topic today. So we will be starting this with a branching and looping. So what is branching? Jumping from statement 1 to statements 2. In general, if you are watching the so in general all the programs will run from the first statement. The program execution will start from the main and it will execute one by one. So if you want to change that execution order, you have to use the branching statements. And if you want to execute a set of particular statements in a repeated fashion, you need to use the looping concept. So what are all the comes under branching statement and what are all the comes under looping statement? So in branching statements, we'll be having if else, nested if, and switch. In looping, we're having while, do while, and for. I think the computer science students and circuit branch students are comfortable with this topic, but many students are watching from non-circuit branches like mechanical, civil, petrochemical, automobile, etc. So we will be discussing the basics of this topic, and then we will be moving on to the question. We'll be moving on to code blocks IDE and discuss the IDE. We'll execute the program and see how it runs. So we will be starting this with if statement and then compare it to the if else, then we'll move on to nested if, then switch. Then we'll discuss some of the additional concepts like go to, break, continue in this webinar. So if you are attending a campus interview and if you are sitting in a technical interview panel and if you are from non-circuit branch, the first question you can expect from the branching and looping concept. It means that the interviewer wants to check your programming knowledge. The basic question will start from branching and looping. Something like, what is the difference between while and for, while and do while? What is the difference between break and continue? So based on your answer, they will increase the difficulty level of the question. So this is the basic topic for all the branches, and you can expect at least one question in technical interview as well as the written test in every campus recruitment test. So first we will be starting this with if and if else. So as per this diagram, you could see the condition will be checked first. If the condition is true, it will execute some extra statements. If condition is false, it will not execute that statement. That's very simple. If condition is true, it will execute some extra statement. If condition is false, it will not execute any statement, any that additional statements. In case of if else, if condition is true, it will execute some set of statements. If condition is false, it will execute some different set of statements. So in this case, if condition is false, it will not execute anything. In this case, even if condition is false, it will execute some set of statements. So this is the basic of if and if else. So I will display some set of code. It will help you to understand in a better way. So in this example, I have received the input from the user and checking whether the input is less than 10 or not. If it is less than 10, I am printing A is less than 10. If it is not less than 10, I am printing placement season. Is it correct? No. If it is less than 10, I am printing A is less than 10. And then I am printing print of placement season. If it is not less than 10, it will directly print the placement season. So I will explain this part in the code blocks IDE so that you will get clear idea about this. Similarly, in the second right side program, A is less than 10, it will print A is less than 10, else it will print A is not less than 10, and then it will print the placement season. So let's go to code blocks IDE and execute this program and see some basics of if and if else. Then we will come back to this slide again and discuss nested if. So here is some basic code which is already available in the code blocks. Let's start this with simple int a equal to 5. Now if a less than 10, I am printing stay home, and then I am printing a statement called learn new skill. So here I have put an if statement and assign the value of a equal to 5. So as per this program, this condition is true. If I print, I will get stay home and then upskill, that is learn new skill. So let me execute this program and check whether our logic is correct, our understanding is correct. So in this output, we are getting stay home, learn new skill. So we are getting both the screens. So stay home is also printing, learn new skill is also printing. So if I make this as 15 and if I execute this program, it is printing only learn new skill. So if I want to use else condition, I am printing one more statement. Stay safe. So what will happen in the scenario is If the condition is true, it will print stay home, and again it will print learn new skill. If condition is false, it will print stay safe and it will print learn new skill. So in previous scenario, we have only if statement followed by a remaining statement. In this program, we are having if and else statement. So if you want to check multiple condition, go for if else. If you want to check only one condition, go for if statement. So we'll go back to nested if and then discuss on this. So what is nested if? So in this nested if condition, you are checking second condition inside the first condition. So you will be checking one by one. So if first condition is true, you will be checking one condition. If first condition is false, you will be checking some other condition. If again that condition is true, you will be checking one more condition. So this is called a nested if. If within another if is called nested if. You can put any number of nested if to check the logic of your program, to check the conditions. So here is a simple example I have displayed in the screen. It's something like we are checking the biggest among three numbers. Here we are using the first condition a greater than b. If this condition is true, again we are checking another condition. If this condition is true, we are printing a is big. So here is first if and here is second if. It means if within another if is called nested if. Similarly, you can put an if block inside a else block also. So it means that we are checking the biggest among three numbers. First we are comparing a with b and then comparing a with c. If first condition is false, we are checking the second scenario is b is greater than c. So this is the simple nested if program which I will display in the code blocks IDE. You will understand in a better way. So I'm declaring three variables to get the input from the user. So in this program, we are going to discuss how to write a program to check whether the given number is biggest or not. That is, we are checking the biggest among three numbers. So we are getting three inputs. Friends, I am not using any printf before this scanf. The reason is in online compiler, if you are trying to do any programs, don't use unwanted printf like enter first number, enter second number, enter third number. It will fail in the compilation. So I am directly using the scanf, and if a greater than b, I am going to check if again a greater than c. So if this condition is true, I am printing a is big. Else c is big. So here is the first if condition. I am putting another if inside this if. So if this condition is true, it will execute this part. What will happen if the first condition is false? So if this else is false, it will not execute the above these two statements. It will come to the else part and then print check for the next condition. If b greater than c, print of b is big, else c is big. So here is the simple nested if loop. That is, we are checking first condition. If it is true, we will be checking another condition. If it is false, we are checking with different condition. Okay, so this biggest among three numbers program can be written in a different way. So this is one way to find the biggest among three numbers, and I'm going to replace this code with another logic. That is, if a greater than b and a greater than c. So I'm checking both a and b in the first line itself. So I'm comparing A with B and C in the first line itself. If A is big, it will print this one. I'm using else if I'm checking one more condition whether B is greater than C or not. So if it is good, I'm printing B is big. And if it is fails, I can print it in C is big. So it is a different way to check the biggest among three numbers. Even this can be modified with a simple statement by using ternary operator. So I'm just putting the statement, I'm just modifying this to a ternary operator. So if A and B is greater, I'm going to check whether, so I'm going to print if this condition is failed, I'm going to check whether B is greater than C, and if it is true, I'm just printing B is big. So here is the statement by using the ternary operator, which will help you to check the biggest among three numbers in a single line itself. So you can check, you can use any type of logics in if-else statement. So you can either use if or if-else, if nested if-else ladder, or you can use ternary operator to get the exact output. So this is what you will be doing in the actual program, but this if and branching will be a part of your actual program. So practice more problem in this, and then we'll move on to the switch statement, and then we'll discuss break and continue with that. Okay, so what is the major difference between switch and if statement? You may get this question in the interview, and if this in if statement you are checking one condition, if the condition is true, it will be checked, you have to write another condition, and if this condition is true, you have to check another condition. So in switch, it will execute the case which matches here. For example, if your input matches with case 1, it will execute the statement below the case 1, and it will not execute the remaining statements. So if it execute case 2, it will execute only the statement, and it won't execute the remaining statements. So let's move on to code blocks IDE. We are going to type this program in the code blocks IDE and understand how this switch works with some other little tricks, like what will happen if there is no break, what will happen if there is no default case. So we'll be discussing everything in the code blocks IDE. Let's move on to that. So here I am declaring a variable a, just some value, okay, 5 maybe. Let's get the input from the user. Switch a case 1. I'm printing 1 here. I'm not putting any break, I've just put the case 2. Print of, I'm giving the value 2. So I have just typed a switch case program without any break or default condition. So let's try to execute this program and see what is the output for this program. So I'm going to type the number 2. The expected output should be 2. So let's see what is coming here. So the output is 2, 3. Actually, this is not the expected output from our case. The reason for this is our input 2 matches with the case 2 and it is printing the remaining cases. So if I give the input as 1, it will print 1, 2, 3. So understand the basic working principle of switch. It means if it matches with case 1, it will execute all the cases below it. If it matches with case 2, it will execute all the cases below that matching case. So if you want to come out from the particular case after executing, you have to use the break. Remember friends, if you don't use the break in your program, it is not a syntax error, it is logical error. Your program will execute even without break and default statement. But if you want to execute the program properly, you have to use break statement. So you may get a question something like, what will happen if there is no break statement in the switch case? Don't say that your program will not run. Your program will definitely run, but there might be some logical error. So you have to use break. Then I'm putting a default statement. None of this. So I'm executing this program. So I'm typing the number 2 again. So it is displaying only 2. If I type the number 3, it will display only 3. So break, the purpose of break is to come out from the current loop. So if there is no break, it doesn't mean that your program will not run. So your program will definitely run even though if you have not used break in your switch case statement. So next let's move on to the another concept called loops. So as we discussed in the first slide, the loop or the statement which repeats a set of statements or a block which will be repeated in every statement. So we will be discussing the 3 types of loop in this: while, do while and for, and then we will be discussing what are the 3 parameters required for each and every loop. So if you are attending an interview, you will get the question from this difference concept. So what is the difference between while loop and do while loop, or what is the difference between for loop and do while loop? So many of you are familiar with the difference between while loop and do while, but you may get confused if they ask what is the difference between for loop and do while. It is very simple. While loop and for loop execute similar way. So we will be discussing everything in the code blocks IDE directly. Okay, so I'm going to write a loop. While I less than n, I'm just printing a statement. I'm just printing the value of I in this case, and I'm putting I plus plus. So here I need to get the value from the user. Maybe we'll declare it directly. Int n equal to 5 and I equal to 0. It means that the I value will be 0 at the beginning position, and this condition will execute until it gets false. So in the if statement, if it is false, it won't execute, and in this statement, if it is true, it will execute until it gets false. So we are printing %d. I can use the space to print the output clearly. So let me execute this program. Okay, so I was not declared here. Okay, so look at the output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I value is 0 and it printed up to 4. So now let's write a do while loop. I am commenting this line and then write the same code in do while loop. So I'm printing the same program in while, so I'm using the same condition. So in this program also I'm going to print the I value until it gets 0. So I have commented the while loop and now it will execute only do while loop. So let's check the output. Again it is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now tell me, what is the difference between while loop and do while loop if both are printing the same output? So the major difference between while loop and do while loop is not with the true condition. If condition is true, both will execute in a similar way. There is no difference. If condition is false, there comes the difference. So what will happen if condition is false? Let's execute this program by commenting this do while loop now, and then so I have uncommented the while loop, uncommented the do loop. So now I'm going to make this condition as a false one. Sorry. So I have just made n equal to -5. So the condition is false in both the scenario. Now let's check what will happen in the while loop now. So it is not printing anything. See, there is no output here. So now I am commenting and uncommenting this while loop part. Let's check what is happening. So in the earlier condition, the condition was false, and in this scenario, let's check. So it is printing 0. So the loop has executed at least one time. So this is the major difference between this while loop and do while loop. So if condition is true, both loop will work in a similar way. If condition is false, do while loop will execute at least one time and while loop will not execute. Okay, so understand it clearly. Don't say simply that it will exit control loop, entry control loop like this. So in a simple words, if you want to tell the difference between while loop and do while, say that if condition is false, do while loop will execute at least one time. If condition is false, while loop will not execute. So this statement is more than enough. So if they ask further question, you can say that if condition is true, both will execute in a similar way. False only, it will come difference. So I hope you have understood this difference between while loop and for loop. So in the slide we have discussed the 3 parameters which is very important for this while loop, do while loop, or even for loop. So these 3 parameters are the initialization. That is, you have to initialize the loop variable, and then you need to check some condition, and then you need to do some increment or decrement or modifier. So that's what I have displayed here. Initialization, condition, increment or decrement. Either I could be increment or decrement or whatever it is. So first important parameter is initialization, second is condition. Maybe I will uncomment this so it will be visible for you. So second, this is condition, and this is the increment statement. Similarly, in case of do, we are having an initialization here and we are checking condition here, and then we are doing some increment or decrement. So these 3 are the important parameters in every loop. If anything miss, it will go for infinite loop. So here now let's move on to the for loop, and many students said that the while is entry control loop and do while is exit control loop. That is correct, and you can use this statement at the end of telling the difference between them, but beginning say that the core point, if it is false, do while loop will execute once. If it is true, while loop will not execute anything. Okay, so after that you can say that it controls, it's an entry control loop or exit control loop, and go on explaining the further concept. So explain the core and then explain the additional concepts. So as I said, there are 3 important parameters in each and every loop. Just the syntax is different for loop. It will execute similar to the while loop. I am typing a for loop here. For maybe I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and then I am writing some statement here. So I am putting this only statement. So I will command this while loop for now. Similarly, I will command this do loop for now. So I value is 0, it's already initialized there, but again I'm giving, okay, maybe we'll declare like this. So we have initialized the value, we are checking the condition, and we are incrementing this value. Now let's check how it is going to print. It's not printing anything because we have not changed the value, that is condition is false. I'm just making this as a true value. It's printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It works similarly like while loop. In while loop also, if the condition is false, we didn't get any output. So again in for loop, we didn't get any output if condition is false. So both while loop and for loop are entry control loop. Okay. So in case if the interviewer asks what is the difference between for loop and do while loop, you can explain the same thing. Instead of while, you are putting the for loop. That's it. So there is one thing which you need to remember. The sequence of execution is, first it will initialize the variable, then it will check for the condition, and then it will execute the statement inside this loop. Again it will go to this increment statement, and then again it will check the condition, again body of the loop, then checks the condition, again body of the loop, checks the condition, like this. So first initialization, condition, print the statement, then increment or decrement. After that it won't go for the initialization. So simply we are writing the statement of while loop in a single line is called for loop. So this is the basic for all the type of program which you are going to learn in data structures or algorithms or object oriented programming, everything. So if you are comfortable with C++ or Java or Python, there might be some small change in the syntax, but it works in the same logic. So I hope you're clear with these three types of the loop, and now let's move on to the another major confusing area, that is break and continue. Okay, so I will remove this while loop part and do while loop part. We'll check only with the for loop. For the better understanding, I'm changing the value to 0. Here I'm checking the condition if n equal to 5. I want to just come out from this loop. So can you predict the output for this question? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is printing all the numbers which is given here. So what is wrong in this program? We want to come out from the loop if it matches the condition. If I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and we are checking the some n value. So it is the logical error. It is not predicted by the compiler. So actually I have said about the automata fixed questions at the earlier slide, right? You will be getting some kind of this. So if you are able to debug these types of errors, you will easily clear the Cognizant automata fixed questions. So now let's see the output. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is happening? So the program needs to execute 10 times. In the earlier stage, it executes 10 times. So if it matches with 5, it is coming out from the loop. It is skipping the remaining statement and go to the other statement. Maybe we can put something like this. We will put printf to understand. We'll put something like this outside the loop. Okay, I'll put a slash in here for better reading visibility. So look at this. It is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it is coming outside the loop. Now I'm going to change this break to continue. If I click on this play button and see the output here. So here 1, sorry, we are getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is not printing here. It is printing the remaining loop 6, 7, 8, 9 and outside the loop. So maybe if it is not clear, I'm just zoom the page. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 is not printed and it prints the 6, 7, 8, 9. So now what is the difference between break and continue? In simple words, if you want to say the difference between break and continue, if the break statement executes, it will come out from the loop. For continue will start the next iteration of the loop. So it will skip the statement for that particular iteration and it will execute the next iteration of the loop. That's why in the break statement we got the output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So once it reaches 5, it is coming out from the loop. In continue statement, it has printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and it reaches the output 5. It is skipping the below statement, that is printf statement, and it starts the next iteration of the loop and printing 6, 7, 8, 9. So in simple words, if you want to say the difference between break and continue, break will come out from the loop, continue will start the next iteration of the loop. So this is more than enough to explain the difference between these two. If again they ask, you can put the same type of program and explain to the interviewer. And if we will be mainly using this break statement in switch case, but we rarely use the continue statement in the program. So if you are doing some algorithm based programs or data structures program, you will be using continue statement. But in our service company recruitment test like TCS or Wipro, Accenture, we don't use much continue statements in the programs which they are asking in the campus recruitment. So this break continue difference may come as a interview questions in the technical interview. So this is the difference, break and continue. So break statement terminates the loop, continue statement passes the control to the next iteration. Maybe you can take a screenshot of this page and you can refer it later. So far we have understand the major two differences. First one is while and do while and another one is break and continue. So we have made a separate video about this. I will show you all those links which you have made in the other useful resources section at the last slide. So it will be helpful for you to understand the company specific type of questions. So next let's move on to the one more statement that is called go to statement, which is available in the programming statements like C, C++, but we suggest you to not use go to statements. So if you are from the electronics background like CSC, IT, ECE and EEE, you would have learned microprocessor or microcontroller in your regular syllabus. In that you will be using a go to statement and label to go to different statements. So the same you can do it in the C program, but we are suggesting not to use go to statement. Why? So if you use go to statement, you are not checking any condition and simply redirecting it to some other statements. It is not advised in the programming. It is not advised in the programming. Okay. So if this go to statement executes, it will check for the suitable label and then it will go there. So definitely if you want to change the sequence of execution, means it should be based on some condition. So go to statement should not be used in the program. So maybe if you want to learn go to statements, I'll give you a simple example, but don't use it in the program. It's something like this. You have to put a label. Maybe I'll put a label A. If A less than 3. Actually, I have used if statement to use this go to, but in general, go to statement will work like this. So what will happen is, if the program sees this line, it will go to A statement, and again it will take this statement. It will go to A statement. It will go like an infinite loop. So that's why we are not suggesting you to use go to statement in the programming. So control your logics with if, else, while, do while, for, switch statements. Don't use go to statements. Okay, so next we will move on to the company specific type of questions which you can expect in the campus interviews. So in campus interviews, earlier you are getting only MCQ type of question and then programming question. But nowadays you have started to get different types of questions. So in this scenario, Capgemini is asking the pseudocode type of question in their recruitment test. So this section is introduced last year, maybe in the 2018, to check the students' knowledge in how they are converting the traditional, that is high level description code to the programming. So in simple words, pseudocode means it's a high level description of the program. Based on that, you can convert it to a required language. It's not a language specific. It's simple code which is readable. I'll display a code. I display a program which was asked in the Capgemini last year. It is, what will be the output of the following pseudocode? So if you look at this code, it is easily understandable by anyone without having much programming knowledge. So here they have declared a variable as integer and then n equal to 3, n not equal to 0, n minus minus, printing n again they are subtracting and then ending the for loop. So it means that this is not a C program. This is not a C++. This is a Java, not a Java program. It's a simple pseudocode and you have to answer this question. So if it is present, if you execute this code, it will go for infinite loop. The reason is you are checking the value integer here, n equal to 3, and this condition is satisfied. So condition is true, it is not equal to 3. So it is printing 3 here and then it will reduce the value of 3 to 2. Again it will reduce the value of n equal to 1. So here we have used two decrement operator. One is this one and second one is this one. So from 3 it will be going to 1, not to 0. So this condition is true, it will print 1. After that, here the value will be again decremented to 0 and it will decrement again to minus 1 here. So this condition is again true, it will print minus 1 here. So we have used two decrement, so the value will be decrementing like 3, 1, minus 3 and goes on. This n not equal to 0 will be failing in each section. So many of you have answered like 3 to 1, 2, 1 like this, but it will go for the infinite loop. Maybe you can write a program and check this, it will go for infinite loop. The reason is we are doing two decrements, n minus 1, again n minus minus. So in general, the statement below for loop will be considered as a statement for that particular for loop. But in pseudocode, they have given the end by combining these two statements. So make sure you are reading the code properly and then answering the questions. So you can expect many pseudocode type of questions, and we have solved these pseudocode. We have conducted an exclusive webinar for Capgemini pseudocode and it is available in our YouTube channel in the below link. So we will be posting this link in the description after this webinar. You can click on the link and then watch the Capgemini pseudocode webinar. So if you know that Capgemini is going to visit your college on day 1 or in the first slot, we suggest you to practice more pseudocode based questions. So we have discussed different types of pseudocode tests that is available in this link. I will be posting this link in the description after this webinar. Even if you want, you can take the screenshot and use this link after this webinar. So first one, focus on the type of question which is asking in the company which is going to visit your college. Don't prepare generally. Next, let's move on to another type of question which you can expect in the campus interviews, Cognizant Automata fix. So they are using some different names and simply they are checking your ability to debug the error code. So in general, in company, you will be working as a team and you need to fix other programmers' error, or you need to find the bugs in the code which is already created. If there is any bug, you need to find where it is. So Cognizant is testing students' ability to debug the error code. So in this Automata fix type, they are checking the skill of being able to understand the code written by your peer programmers. So you have to follow the coding standard, and if there is any mistake in that coding standard, mistake in that program, so to check that skill, Cognizant has introduced this Automata fix. Sometimes you need to write a new functionality based on the given functions. You should not modify the existing one. You have to add new features. For example, if you are working in a product company and if they are going to release a new feature, you should not modify the existing code, and you have to add a new feature which works on the existing code also. So to do this, Cognizant has introduced this section called Automata fix, and let's discuss how the questions are in Automata fix. Here they will give us something like this: modify the program to print n from n to 0. Here they are asking you to change the program. They have given the program. It means there is some error in this program and you need to find the error. Either it could be a compile error or it could be a logical error. Mostly they will ask for the logical error. They won't ask for the compilation error because you can easily find out while executing this program. So there are only chance for asking the logical error. You need to find the logical mistake and execute the program. So will this program print the number from n to 0? Yes or no? It will print or no? So you can type your answer in the comment section, yes or no. If it is printing yes, you can print yes. So if it prints from n to 0, maybe for example, if the value of n is 4, then what will be the output? So I'm getting many output like yes, no, yes, no. So the reason for many students has printed yes and many students has printed no. Okay, let's discuss on this. So what will happen in this program? So the tricky line is this one, unsigned int I n. It means there is no negative values for n. It means it is unsigned value starting. The negative value is not considered. You cannot store the negative value in I now. Okay, so you can store only positive value. So if I give the number as 4 and this condition is true, and this value prints 4 and it is decrementing. So if it reaches 0, or so this program will execute until if greater than or equal to 0. This program will stop if it goes into a negative value, right? So if you use unsigned integer, it will not go to negative statements. In simple words, this program will stop if it get negative value, but in unsigned integer you won't get negative value. So the changes you have to do is you have to remove this unsigned in this program. So remove this unsigned program and you will get the proper output. So this is the type of question which you can expect in the Cognizant Automata fix. So you need to understand the code and find out the answer. Okay, so let's discuss one more question based on this Cognizant Automata fix. So check whether the program print the below pattern. The pattern is here. You have to print 111, 222, 333 for the input 4. Okay, so here is the program, and check whether this program will print this pattern or it will print different output. So go through the program step by step, look at and understand the for loop. So we have put for loop inside another for loop. It is called nested for loop. We have not discussed the nested for loop. We have discussed the nested if statement. You can put any for loop inside another for loop, or even you can put while loop inside the another for loop. So in general, to print the pattern programs or matrix program, you will be using multiple for loops within another for loop. So you can use for loop within another for loop like the while loops. If statement, that is nested loops. So now what will be the output, or check whether the program printing the below pattern or not. So for the given program, definitely it won't print. So the reason is the value starts from I equal to 1, I less than n, and again this starts from I equal to 1, I less than n. It means such j less than n. It means that it will be printing 1 1 1 2 2 2, sorry 2 2 2 2 3 3 3 3. That is, everything will be printed 4 times if the input is 4. So if you want to change this logic to print the given pattern, you have to do some changes in the loops. So there are many ways you can change the loop, but in a simple way, if you change this j value as I minus 1, you'll be getting this output. So these type of questions will be asked in the Cognizant Automata fixed questions. So they won't ask like MCQ question or fill in the blanks question. They will be checking your logic, your ability to find the error in the program. So it's a different type of question. You need to understand their code first and then modify that. So you can expect this Automata fixed questions if you're going to attend Cognizant interview. So again, we have made an exclusive video for cracking Cognizant Automata fixed question for your senior batch. So the pattern is going to be similar for 2021 batch also. So we have made 2 webinars exclusively for Cognizant Automata fix. So the link of those webinars are here. As I said earlier, I'll be posting those links in the description. So you can click on the links after this webinar, or you can take the screenshot and watch it later directly. So this is the second some useful resources for you to crack Cognizant interviews. So for example, if Cognizant is going to visit your college, go through this video completely and understand what are the different type of questions you can expect in this Automata fixed questions. So pseudocode section and Automata fixed questions can be, you can get maximum questions from branching and looping concept. That's why we are suggesting you to go through these 2 videos and understand the different types of questions. You will be getting 7 questions in Cognizant and 20 minutes duration for that question. So plan how to answer those 7 questions. Definitely you will be having the sectional cutoff, so you have to answer all the sections. So watch this video to understand more about Cognizant Automata fix. So next, let's move on to fill in the blank type of question. So earlier companies used to conduct, or even colleges used to conduct the test based on MCQ only. But nowadays, more fill in the blank questions are coming in the interview type. The reason for this is the companies don't want to hire the candidates who is coming by luck, marking answer. Many students have the some logic to answer the question. They will put some BC, D, A, B. Some students, for example, if the output is number 5, you should not type FIVE or Roman letter 5. You have to type exactly what is the output. So there are many students making the mistakes in filling the blanks question. So make sure you are typing the exact output. So here is the code which was asked in the TCS NQT last year as a fill in the blanks type question. So in the fill in the blanks type question, you have to type the exact answer provided in the space. So answer for this question and type, so maybe you can type your answer in the comment section after going through this small code snippet. So let me wait for a few minutes so that you can understand the code and answer the question. So 1 5 1 1 5 1 5 5. Many students are typing 5 5, and now I'm getting more ones. 5 1 5 1. Okay guys, okay, so the trick lies in the second statement. So those who have answered 5, this is wrong. The answer for this program is 1. How it is 1? So there is a trick in this statement, second statement. So look at this. Here y equal to z. It means that we are comparing y with z. So it is a logical statement. We are comparing y with z. So the value of y is 5 and value of z is 5. So this condition is true. If condition is true, it will return 1. If condition is false, it will return 0. So they have given double equal to here, so it will be logical operator, sorry, condition. It will check the condition, y is it equal to z. Yes, this condition is true. So condition is true, it will assign 1 to x and printing 1. So if you have answered 5, it is wrong. The reason for the wrong 5 on print is we are not assigning the 5 to the x. We are checking the condition, and condition is true, it is printing x. So in case if I put y not equal to 0, it will print 0. Sorry, y not equal to z, it will print 0. It means condition is false, it will assign the value 0 to x, so it will printing 0. Okay, so remember there is a difference between single equal to and double equal to. Single equal to assigns the value and double equal to checks for the equality. So these are some of tricky logical errors. This type of questions may be asked in the automata fix also. Instead of giving if a double equal to b, they will be giving a equal to b and proceeding the loop. So you have to check the logical error. So that's why we have suggested you to watch the video of automata fix to understand the different automata questions and logical error predictions. So many students have answered if it is not equal to y not equal to z, it will print 0. Now let's move on to one more tricky question which was asked in the TCS again. Here I have declared the variable I and I have used that I in the for loop. Again I have declared I inside this for loop, I equal to 10 and then printing the I value. So what will be the output for this program? Will it print 10 only once, or it won't print or anything? So you can type your answer in the comment section so that let's see how many of you are answering this. So if there is any syntax like semicolon or, you can ignore that, so it won't print error. So I'm just copied the code from the code blocks ID, so it won't print any error. So if there is any semicolon missing, or you can ignore that and tell the answer. So many students have answered 10, 10, 10 5 times, 10 one time, 10 5 times, infinite 10, 10 only one, error 0 1 2 3 4, 10. Okay, won't compile. 10 multiple declaration. Yes, it is multiple declaration. 5 times 10 10. Okay, so maybe I can give it to you an assignment. So copy this code and execute this code, type this code in the program, and the answer for this program is it will print 10 5 times, 10 10 10 10 10. It will print 10 times. So you can do some research and find why it is printing like this. I'll give a simple clue. The I declared above the for loop is different and I declared inside the for loop is different. So to understand this program and why it is printing 10 5 times, you need to understand the scope of variables to get the clear output. So I'm giving it to you, so you can try this as a challenge and execute this program in the code blocks ID or whatever the ID you're having, and identify why it is printing 10 as a 5 times, not printing or not going infinite. Maybe in a first loop, if you say that I equal to 0, I less than 5, condition is true. Again I equal to 10, it is printing 10. Again this condition is false. So many of the students have answered in this way, like it prints only 10. But if you execute this, it will print 10 5 times. So this is a challenge for you. So before executing this program, understand the scope of variables which is declared before the for loop and inside the for loop and get this answer. The answer for this question is 10 10 10 10 and 10. Okay, so we have discussed these types of questions in our TCS NQT repeated questions webinar. So the link of those is TCS NQT webinar is given here, so you can watch this webinar. So anyhow, I will consolidate all these useful resources in the last slide and display it in a single slide, so it will be easy for you to take the screenshot, and even you can share it with your friends or your juniors or seniors. Okay, so far we have discussed pseudocode, automata fix and fill in the blanks type question. These are some of the new section which you are not aware until your third year, and you will be getting these type of questions in your campus recruitment test once the interview starts. So next we will discuss some of the frequently asked program in this branching and looping concept. So if you are going to attend any service company, you will be getting the questions 95% from these topics I am going to display now. So you can expect the question from factorial, that is n factorial equal to n into n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, it goes up to 1. So, or you can use 1 into 2 into 3 up to n. So factorial concepts. Next you will be getting questions based on the Fibonacci series. So either you will be you may get a question like to print the Fibonacci series, or you will get a questions to find nth number in the Fibonacci series. So it's something related to Fibonacci series questions. Next you will be getting the questions based on prime number concepts. So either you have to print the prime number series, or you need to compare co-prime. So you need to print the co-primes, or you need to, that program is simply based on basic prime number logic, and they will be asking slightly different questions based on the companies or based on the test difficulty level. Next area is you will be getting question based on this operator concept like odd or even, and LCM, write a program to find LCM and GCD of the given numbers, and then some magic number, Armstrong number, perfect number, etc. So this will be based on some of the operator concept based questions. Even this LCM and GCD questions was asked in Wipro Automata test last year. So they have asked you to implement the code to print the GCD or HCF of the given number. So magic number, understand what is magic number, understand what is Armstrong number, what is perfect number. So these type of questions you may expect in this branching and looping concept. So next, another frequently asked questions in this part is leap year based program. So understand what is leap year, what will happen if it is century year, and what will happen if it is century year like 400, 800, 1200, and do the proper logic for that. Then you will be getting the question based on swapping two numbers. This question is asked in many interviews, like swap two numbers without using a third variable. There are n number of ways you can do that. So either you can use addition concept or multiplication concept or XOR logic to print the swapped numbers without using temporary variable. Sometimes they will ask you to print two numbers, swap two numbers by using the temporary variable also. So these are some of the questions which you can expect in the branching and loopings. Then next, some factors based question like what are the factors, how many factors will be even factors for this number, and some number conversions like hexa to octal, octal to binary, binary to decimal number conversion. So then one more topic which you can expect the questions is series calculation, like 1 plus n by 2 plus n square by 2, n cube by 2, like this. So these are the some of areas which you can expect in the campus interviews under this branching and looping topics in the programming section. So apart from this area, you will be getting the question from one more major area, that is the last, pattern programs. So other than these pattern programs, everything is related to mathematical concepts. You need to understand the basic mathematical process, mathematical concept to answer those questions. So we are having the webinars on quants, and yesterday also we have discussed about the prime number and co-prime. So if you watch our quants webinar, this answer for this will be easy, and you need to implement only programming part. The major part is pattern programs, and let's discuss some of the core logic of this part. We are not going to discuss the pattern programs. We will be discussing the core logic of this pattern program, and that will help you to crack any type of pattern printing programs. So in all pattern printing programs, you will be getting either of these types. First, they may ask you to print the star, something like this. That is at simple part of a triangle. Sometimes you may get the upper part of this triangle. Similarly, sometimes you may get the other one and this fourth one. So if you look any pattern programming, you will be getting the questions something like this. So either lower triangle, upper triangle, or inverted triangle like this. If you combine this, you will be getting a square. So for example, if you combine this and this, you will be getting a square. If you combine this, you will be getting a square. Or you may get a different type of pattern, something like this. It is the combination of, so look at this image. This is a combination of this part plus this part. It means that the core 4 patterns are similar. So we are combining this first and fourth, and we are getting this 5th pattern. Similarly, if you combine this second and third, you will be getting this 6th pattern. So the core pattern printing program is these 4. If you understand the logic to print these 4 patterns, you can crack any pattern printing programs. It's making some minor changes. So in this slide, I have displayed only the star based pattern. You may get slight modification like number and text based pattern printing. So in the first number based printing, we are printing 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In second, we are printing A, BB, CCC, DDDD, EE, something like this. So the logic is similar. Instead of printing star, you will be using the suitable %D or %C with a variable. So I suggest you to understand the logic for these 4 pattern printing and modify this to get this output. So what you can do is, you can consider this pattern printing program as a square, something like this. So whatever the program you will be getting, it will be coming under any of these triangle, upper triangle, lower triangle, right or left triangle. So first understand how to write the program for any one triangle, and then convert it to second triangle, and then move on to third triangle. Let me go to CodeBlocks IDE and display how to print this left triangle in this video, and then we'll come back to the remaining part. So I'm going to put a simple for loop. And I equal to 0. Let me take up to 10. Printf, I am printing the value star. I have to put one more for loop here. In j equal to 0, j less than 10, j plus plus. Okay. So we'll put, okay, we'll let it be. So we have to put this for loop. So let's check what is the output for this program. So what is your expected output for this program? So this loop will execute 100 times. It will print 100 stars in a straight line. Maybe it is going for the infinite loop. Might be we have not checked the condition properly. So let me close this. I equal to 0. Here I have used the variable I instead of j. So it is printing 100 stars. Maybe if it is not clear, we'll limit with a 5 and we'll put a space to make this clear. So I have put 2 loops. It is printing just 25 stars in a straight line. So if I want to make it in the next lines, I have to use a print /n here. So in this for loop, we are having 2 statements. One is for loop, another one is print statement. If I execute this, I'm getting this square part. So this is the basic of star. That is, everything will be in a star. Okay. Now, let me comment this. Let me copy this and paste it here and comment this. Now, I'm going to change this value, that is j value, as 0 to I. Now let's see what is printing in the output. Look at this. It is printing the half of the square. So this is one type of question which you can expect. It's a simple. Similarly, I'm going to copy this, and maybe I will copy the first part so that you will understand what is the modification I'm doing in this. So instead of first, earlier I put j equal to y. In this one, I'm not putting j equal to I, I'm putting just j less than 5, sorry, less than I. So I'm commenting this part also. Now it will execute the last part only. It is printing the star in the reversed manner. So what will happen if I remove this command? We are getting the pattern something like this, maybe. Okay, so if you put n equal to 0 or less than 5, this 5 will match with the 4 and you will getting the pattern like this. Now what will happen if I just modify this statement and put it here? That is, I'm just interchanging the two statements. Now it is printing the pattern like this. So it is very clear. So pattern printing programming is mainly based on the square concept. So if I execute this program, I'm getting the triangle which I have displayed in the slide. So all the pattern printing programming is based on the loop concept. You'll be getting many questions in this pattern printing. So for all the question, the logic is similar. So as of now, we have typed the code to print the pattern like this. That is the left triangle, and we suggest you to understand the logic to print the second, that is upper triangle and right triangle and then lower triangle. If you are clear with these three logics, you can easily crack any pattern printing programs. So earlier we have discussed the code to print the left triangle, and once you understand this left triangle, write a program to print right triangle. So the trick is you have to print some space to print the numbers. So for all the pattern programming printing, understand the logic, don't memorize the code. So if you are able to print the 4 logics which I have displayed in the first slide, you can easily crack any pattern printing program. So now let's summarize the topics which we have discussed so far. So earlier I have displayed the training. Those who have joined late, you can watch the video once again in this to see the training schedule which I have displayed in the first or second slide. Maybe you can take a screenshot as I said earlier and share it with your friends or keep it in the reminder. And also I have shared the regular link for this live training session in that slide. So this branching and looping is a basic topic for all the programming language and all the concepts which we are going to discuss in upcoming training session. So we have discussed about Capgemini pseudocode questions, and we have discussed about Cognizant Automata fix questions. I have displayed the exclusive webinar based on Capgemini and Cognizant Automata fix questions. We'll be displaying those links in the next slide. If you want to take the screenshot, just wait for a few minutes and then take the screenshot of that slide. And then we have discussed the fill in the blanks tricky questions which was asked in the TCS. And then we have discussed some of the frequently asked questions in this. And then, so these are the links which we have displayed. So for the CTS, Automata Fix and TCS NQT, we have conducted the exclusive webinar. You can take the screenshot of this entire webinar. Also, apart from this Capgemini, Cognizant and TCS questions, we have a separate package to practice the test. If you want to practice more tests, you can check the test which is available in Quarantine Special Placement Combo Pack. You can use this link which is displayed here, rebrandly/special combo. In this you will be getting aptitude for placements and programming for placement, IT product as well as service companies. So in this package you will be getting this 120 topic wise test plus revision test. Similarly for IT product you will be getting these 40 topic based test, revision test, long revision test. So in total you'll be getting 100 plus coding questions that can be that will help you to crack any IT product companies. In the second, it will crack you to IT service companies. If you want to attend the campus interview without much training from the college, utilize these days and prepare more program. So learn the program, practice, take mock assessments, analyze the result, and work on your area of improvements. So thank you friends. We will be meeting you in another session on Monday to discuss about the array concept. Tomorrow you will be having a session on sentence correction. So we will be posting the link in the description to attend the day 3 training. So in today's practice test, you will be getting questions from branching and looping. So the practice test is scheduled something like this. So one section will be from the topics which you have discussed on that day. Yesterday, you would have received the question from operators and number system. We have discussed number system yesterday. Today, we have discussed branching and looping, and you will be getting questions in daily challenge technical section. So you will be getting branching and looping questions in that. So tomorrow you will be you have a webinar on sentence correction, and Sunday you will be having the revision test. So we suggest you to take the revision test seriously and analyze the result. You will be getting the result immediately after the test. So analyze the result, look at the areas and focus on those areas. So all these webinar videos are recorded and it will be available in YouTube channel, and we will be adding these webinars in your course if you are Examly customer. So you can watch this webinar in the portal itself. So thank you friends. See you once again in the next webinar. All the best. Bye-bye.